Did you know that Google alone could shift millions of votes in a presidential election without anyone even realizing it? Or that your everyday search results might be silently shaping your opinions and decisions on almost everything? Today we're uncovering the shocking truth about how tech giants like Google, Facebook, and TikTok have unprecedented control over what we see, believe, and even how we vote. We'll reveal how these companies can turn bias on and off like a switch, why they're targeting your children with disturbing content, and the eye-opening secrets of their hidden manipulations. Stay tuned because you won't want to miss these explosive revelations that could change the way you see the internet forever. Okay, my friends, let's take a closer look together. Welcome to Veracity. I'm your host, Michael Lewis. Today we're discussing some shocking revelations about Google and other tech giants and how they can influence not just elections, but every aspect of our online experience. Now, Dr. Robert Epstein, head of the American Institute of Behavioral Research and Technology, recently shared some eye-opening insights. He revealed that bias in Google search results can change people's views on almost anything. How serious is this issue? Much worse than you might think. According to Dr. Epstein, Google alone can shift between 6.4 million and 25.5 million votes in a presidential election. Yes, you heard that right. This massive shift happens without anyone realizing they've been manipulated and without leaving a paper trail. So how does this influence happen? It's all through various means like sending out register to vote reminders in a partisan manner. Right now, Democrats are getting these reminders at about 2.5 times the rate of Republicans. This is incredibly manipulative, and it happens because of what's called ephemeral content. These are things like push notifications or search suggestions that appear and influence us and then disappear without a trace. Dr. Epstein's team monitors these actions through the computers of more than 14,000 registered voters across all 50 states. This real-time tracking allows them to see the bias as it happens. What's even more alarming is that Google can turn this bias on and off at will. For instance, in the 2020 election, after a letter from Senator Ted Cruz and others, Google turned off their partisan Go Vote reminder and bias search results. This shows they can control these biases whenever they choose. Now, you might think this only affects elections, but it goes far beyond that. People today are fascinated by virality, especially influencers. Most don't realize is that companies like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok have total control over what goes viral and what gets suppressed. Not a lottery where some content just happens to go viral. These companies have 100% control over it. Now, for example, during the 2020 election, Dr. Epstein's team discovered Google shifted more than 6 million votes to Joe Biden. Without Google's influence, the popular vote would have been much closer and Trump would have won 11 out of 13 swing states. But it's not just about politics. These algorithms decide everything from the best guitar brand to which hotel you should stay at. This brings us to another critical point: algorithmic neglect. This is when algorithms programmed by humans are left to run without oversight. They continue to influence and decide outcomes on various topics. For instance, a recent study published by Pulse One shows that bias in Google search results can change people's views on almost anything. The search engine indeed is a simple index, but is now shifting the views of undecided people on a massive scale without anyone realizing it. Think about it. If you search for hotels in a city you've never been to, you're likely to choose the one Google recommends. This means businesses have to play by Google's rules, suppressing any information Google might not like. This extends to all areas, not just consumer preferences, but also ideological views. People tend to trust Google implicitly. Even if they know about the bias, they still go along with it. Why? It's the trust factor. In one of Dr. Epstein's studies, even people who recognize the bias in search results had their opinions shift more in the direction of the bias than those who didn't see the bias. They think the algorithm is smart, it must be right. So what can be done to stop this? We need to set up a large-scale monitoring system to keep these companies in check. If they know we're watching, they'll be more likely to back down, as they did in 2020 after Senator Cruz's letter. But this isn't just about elections. The incorporation of AI into these algorithms makes them even more influential, pushing people in various directions without any oversight. This isn't just about elections, it's about humanity itself, shaping our desires and behaviors on a global scale. Now, let's dive into more of Dr. Epstein's insight. He shared an example from the 2012 election. A member of Obama's tech team admitted on the record that about 2 of the 4 points Obama won by roughly 2.5 million votes came from tech manipulation. These are manipulations that people are completely unaware of and that leave no paper trail. This problem isn't new. It's been growing for years as these companies become more powerful. The more powerful they get, the harder they will be to stop. Political regimes have always shifted throughout history, often without people realizing it immediately. The shift we're seeing now, driven by technology, represents a fundamental change in the playing field. Many people feel that our government seems less like a democracy and more like an oligarchy or a technocracy. It doesn't even feel like the America you grow up in. The biggest shift over the last 20 to 25 years has been technology, which has become a form of hard power. Dr. Epstein also highlighted a concerning issue with content targeted at children. His team has received permission from nearly 3,000 parents to pull content from their children's devices. They discovered that while most content is fine, there are instances of extreme violence, gore, or sexual explicit content being recommended to children by YouTube. This raises serious concerns about what our kids are being exposed to online. To raise awareness and garner support, Dr. Epstein has been working with various organizations. Recently, he was approached by a major conservative think tank to amplify his research. Although he has traditionally supported liberal causes, he's open to working with anyone who understands the importance of his work. Interestingly, while the EU has imposed strict regulations and fines on big tech companies, enforcement remains a challenge. The US has made some progress with monitoring systems, but there is still much to be done. The issue of tech companies' influence is not just a conservative or liberal problem. It's a problem that affects everyone. The only way to combat it effectively is through bipartisan support and robust monitoring systems. Dr. Epstein emphasized the importance of monitoring and transparency. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, and his team is building a system to shine a light on these companies. This system, called the Tech Watch Project, is documented on americadigitalshield.com. They are archiving ephemeral content, which was thought to be impossible, making it possible to track and hold these companies accountable. The project aims to expand its reach to collect and preserve data from more platforms like Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter by sharing this data with attorneys general, members of Congress, the Federal Election Commission, and parenting groups. They hope to make these issues a topic of discussion in boardrooms and beyond. Now, despite the challenge, Dr. Epstein and his team are conducting a wide range of research projects, including studies on parenting skills, teen behavior, and creativity. They believe in the power of discovery and the importance of their work in uncovering the truth about how big tech influences our lives. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed about the issues that impact you the most. We'll see you next time.